Yo, what's up, everybody? How's it going? August 16th, 2021. It's me. Hey, it's Marcos V, along with Yair Martinez, and we're waiting for our other cohort, Marcus Hayes, to be here. Welcome, welcome all to the Fight Up TV live chat. Hope you guys had a great weekend. We had a bunch of fights. I already see a lot of familiar people on the live chat. So go ahead and put in your comments about the action that happened over the weekend and your thoughts on this upcoming fight with Manny Pacquiao versus Yordenis Ugas, as we're going to break down the fight and see if it's possible for Yordenis to get an upset or if Manny's just going to blow completely through Ugas. Manny Pacquiao fighting for his WBA belt that he never lost, that he actually won from Keith Thurman in their matchup 2 years ago in Las Vegas. So it's a weird thing that Manny is going to be attempting to break his own record, being the oldest welterweight champion. But before we get to that breakdown, we're going to go ahead and review the fights that happened over the weekend, starting with Virgil Ortiz in a freaking firestorm, a back and forth fight with Mean Machine Ugas. I can't even pronounce his name. How do you pronounce his name?
Cavalasquez.
That's like when The Rock goes, "Can you smell?" It's the same thing. Ugas Cavalasquez. Damn, bro. I was ringside with Marcus, and I don't know if Marcus had a chance to watch the fight, but I was watching the fight, and man, Cavalasquez, I thought at one point was going to put out Virgil. Virgil looked very, very hurt, very stunned. He was able to recoup himself and then knock down Ugas 4 times en route to a TKO victory. Yair, you were there in Texas, man. How was the atmosphere there?
Look,
was it packed?
Yeah, it was packed. It was packed.
Yep.
A lot of people showed up. Can you hear me?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, sorry. Okay, yeah, it was packed. A lot of people came out in support, obviously, since it's Virgil Ortiz's backyard. Honestly, the fight, I can honestly say, was one of the best fights that I've attended this year. There's a lot that we've attended, obviously, but this one was very electric. Obviously, the second round had a lot of people like, "Oh my gosh, like hold him, Virgil." But one of the things that stood out the most was, the key word for me was adversity. You know what I mean? So he got hurt. He didn't back down. He wasn't hugging the entire time, obviously, just, to recuperate here and there. But he was still coming back and forth. And I was like, wow, like this is a lot of people were just like, this was everybody. And I could see the corners that were like, they're like, come on, keep it cool. The fans were just screaming and going crazy. But overall, his performance, I was very not surprised. I was very ecstatic of how the fight went out because, I was telling everybody this fight's not going to go more than probably the 10th, 11th round. I even told his father when assisted to the training camp. But it's just he got hurt, obviously, but that happens in boxing, right, Marcos? It's boxing. You're going to get hurt. It's going to be normal. And he still showed he had capability. Hey, I can still stand in there and fight. And when I was talking to his coach, once the fight was over, we were going back to a hotel. His coach said, I'm glad for one part that this happened so people can see that he has a rock solid chin and he did not give up. And you can see that even though he got buckled a little bit, he still kept on coming forward. He still backed up Cavalasquez. He was still swinging to the fences. And you don't see those type of fighters nowadays, Marcos. The fighters nowadays are going to go move around, try to stay away, not try to fight, try to make it seem like, I don't want to get hurt. Maybe people are going to go crazy on social media. But Virgil was like, nope, I'm still coming forward. I'm still going to show you what I have. And wow, like it was a very good fight. I think everybody was on their feet, even all of us. And like in the press, we're like, oh, when he knocked him down in the first round, we're like, oh, wow. It was a great fight. And I think this fight honestly showed determination and the capability and as well the stock for Virgil. It's like, hey, you know what? At my age, at 23, fighting a 33-year-old veteran, a 2-time Olympian, which is nearly almost impossible to do. Let's just say that. I can still take those fights where these fighters in their resume when they were 18 and 0, 17 and 0, were not taking these big fights. They were taking probably walk in the park fights. But Virgil on the other side is taking these big fights is something we have to commend. And I was going through the comments, seeing our comments, seeing on the Zone Boxing today, and studying people's comments. And one thing that really stood out was like, you know what? And this is what his father always says: Virgil's an old school fighter. He's those fighters from the 80s and the 90s that come forward. They're basic. Their fundamental skills are very basic, but to the point. And he said, you don't see these type of fighters anymore. And I remember seeing on the comments, they're like, man, we love Virgil's style. He's like a 90s fighter. Virgil's that old school fighter. And I believe it or not, he won a lot of fans off of this. And again, what I can go back, a lot of fighters can take this is, if I get hurt, if I get stung, if I get buckled, who gives a crap? It's boxing. It's going to happen. And you saw it when we talked to him. He's like, yeah, I was hurt, but I didn't know at the moment, but I still had that in me that, hey, it's either fight or flight. And you obviously saw that he was fighting, which a lot of fighters still don't do. So it was a great experience seeing him like that live. And yes, it was packed. And I think he said he has one more fight in him for the remainder of the year. And obviously the bigger fights will come through. But these are the fights that I believe, Marcos, if you want to agree or disagree with me, that these are the fights. It's what lines up these fighters, these young fighters, to become very good pedigree fighters going into their careers. As an 18-0 fighter, this is something that he needed,
Now, yeah, it's one of those fights that Ugas has fought the top of the top. He's fought some very tough fights, and obviously, this fight for Virgil was not a big step up, but a step up. He went in there with a guy that had a lot of experience, challenged Terrence Crawford, challenged other fighters, and gave him good fights. So this is the type of fight that he needs to grow and continue growing. But with that said, you had a chance to talk to Virgil after the fight and talk to their team. Were they happy by the way he fought the fight, or did they feel that they were lacking in some areas?
No, they were happy. They were very happy with the performance. And I know they were nervous. I mean, obviously his father, his trainer who's been with him, and obviously Pete, obviously Robert Garcia was in Oklahoma, but they were all happy with the performance because as soon as he got knocked down, he kind of tried to stay away from the game plan. And then when he recuperated, he came back around a little bit in his senses, let's just say. He stuck to the game plan. And, and you even heard what Virgil said. A younger me would have been going more for the kill. I would want to go in there and just want to kill him, but I stuck to the game plan. So the trainers were very, very excited, and they were like happy that, okay, it's over now. Like, we know this was a big test, and I could see, and it's normal. Like, I could see, they were ready for this fight to happen. His father's like, man, I'm just ready for this fight. I just want this fight. I know what my kid has. And he stuck to the game plan. Again, talking to his trainer, a good friend of mine, Hector, he said, I'm glad that this happened because, we need to show people that he has a chin, that he can take those big punches, and good punches he took, Marcos, that uppercut that got him. And then it was not like a hook. It was more an elbow that he swung and it snapped Virgil's head back. That's what really got him going as well. But he still stayed in there, and his team was very, very, even his manager, Rick Moraine, he was in there. We were all watching the Franco fight in the locker room. He came in, and there was no complaints. They were all happy, and it was a great night of boxing. And I'm excited for his division, these upcoming fighters, that's including him, Ennis, more fighters that are coming up, that even Conor Ben. All these fighters are going to be the next ones that we're going to want to see. And what I'm more excited about is that these fighters are getting marinated at such a young age that when they hit their prime age from 26, 27-ish to 30, they're going to be fully loaded, fully ready to fight, and it's going to be an explosive fights. But yeah, it was again, I could not stress enough how much it was a great fight. And Cav Velasquez, hats off to him. Seriously, man, hats off to him. Professional inside and outside the ring. And I know hearing the comments after, he was very pleased with Virgil's performance. And one thing that, he was like, he had.
Damn, I wish you would have had a chance to ask him, like, hey, who's better, Terrence or Virgil? Like, compare the two. That would be like an interesting thing to ask him, seeing that he fought both guys. I think Virgil did very well against Cav Velasquez. He took him out when he needed to take him out as well. But it's obvious he's still growing. He's still improving. He's still very young as a fighter. If I was managing him, I would tell him still to get like, hey, these big fights will come, but I think what's more important is keep building the hype, keep building momentum, and keep getting you experience with these top tier guys. You know, I'd love to see him in now with a guy who's a little bit more slick and defensive, not super slick and defensive, but a little bit more slick and defensive, to see how he kind of handles that at this stage of his career. Or, you know, if, you know, he's told both of us he wants to fight Terrence Crawford. That's the fight that he wants. You know, maybe, you know, that's one Crawford opponent already off the list. Go for Kell Brook. You know, start knocking off all the Terrence Crawford opponents to kind of like compare and contrast. So at least there's that type of hype around, you know, that fight between Virgil and Terrence in the future.
Marcos, but I love everything you said, but one thing that we should commend is that right now it's like, I don't care. Bring me these fighters. Yeah, I know I still got to marinate a little bit more, but I still want to take that on. I still want those opportunities. Of course, you know, we would like to see all these fighters to, you know, build more experience, but we don't see that much from these young fighters that are hungry to take over from the ones that are getting out of their prime. So that's something that we all, you know, should commend. And obviously, even one that you've been hearing more now is Conor Benn, who just wants those big fights too. So it's going to be interesting.
I don't think Conor Benn is a smart choice. I don't think they should fight Virgil.
No, I'm not saying.
No, I know I'm saying, but if Conor Benn starts mentioning Virgil, I wouldn't recommend that for Conor. he's still very green, and his defense is a bit wide, and yeah, I wouldn't recommend it at this point. But Kell Brook, you know, a lot of people are like, Kell Brook, like leave that guy alone. But hey, you know, like this is what a lot of fighters used to do back in the day. You know, they would fight the same opponents that the other guy, like the marquee guy, would fight, or they would put them on the same undercard together to kind of build up a fight between the two fighters. But you know, I felt overall he showed that he doesn't have quit in him, that he faced adversity and he got touched up. He got touched up a bit. You know, the Kavaliauskas put in his work in the camp, and some of the things he was doing was work, especially the uppercut, because Virgil came in with a high guard. But Virgil was able to adjust. I like the jab that Virgil was using in the fight, and man, his jab's a power jab, man.
Yeah, and you know what? That's what I asked him. If we all saw the video that we had on here, that I asked him, "Hey, man, like, do you feel like your jab's really underrated in your division?" Because there was multiple times throughout the rounds that jab snapped Kavaliauskas' head back pretty good, and I was like,
yeah.
wow, like that. I told him, I said, you know, even off the camera, I said, hey, you know what, like I not, you know, putting down your jab or anything, but like I said, this was like kind of the first few times that I saw your jab really empowered, and man, it was just.
Well, he has power in both hands.
Yeah, he has power.
Yeah, he has power in both hands. Yeah,
and then when he knocked him down, from my angle, I thought it was a 1-2 hook.
No, it was a jab. The first one.
It was a jab. Yeah, exactly. And from my angle, it looked like a 1-2 hook, but then he told me no, it was a 1-2 and then a jab. I'm like, you see, like, you really don't hear people getting knocked out by a jab. You really don't. Like, you know, those are the few rare fighters that have that in them where they knock you down with the jab. So, you know, those are just, again, rare punches, rare opportunities from rare fighters that get those punches. And even you know, you've seen that who had knocked somebody out down with a jab. You know, it's just those rare times that you see him in boxing. I remember Pacquiao a couple of years ago when during his prime, you know, he was knocking people out with his jab. You can see that too. So I mean,
Kovalev had a power jab. You know, a lot of people, Cotto, even Canelo to a point as well. Beto HDZ, shout out to Marcus Hayes for putting Rolly on the spot this weekend about the Haney fight. And with that being said, that's a perfect segue to bring in Marcus Hayes. Marcus, hey, I saw that video. I didn't think you put him on the spot, but you know, you asked him about it.
Yeah, Rolly's cool, bro. Rolly was
he kind of went off though. That was pretty funny.
Yeah,
he got hype about that.
He's getting more hype about it by the day, man. Shout out to Bento. What up, man? Yeah, you know, I wasn't trying to put my dude on the spot. He a cool dude. He was hanging out with the homie Tyron Turner and the dude that killed him from Menace to Society. So we had been over there talking, so I figured I would just start filming. And yeah, it was cool, bro. Rolly is a cold piece of work, man. Anybody that meets Rolly, he comes off as brash and whatnot, but
Rolly's funny, man.
Rolly is super duper approachable, bro. Rolly's a nice guy. If you see him, say what's up to him, dog. He's cool.
He is, but he's funny, dude. He says some funny stuff.
Yeah, he does.
He's always like
super funny. It's like,
he's very animated. He's very animated with his face. It's
don't be talking about that, man. Don't be talking about that. Don't be talking about that. Don't be mentioning his name. You want to fight me? He can fight me. All right, guys, that's it.
Yeah,
Marcos knows that I can do a lot of impersonations, right? Marcos the impression.
Yair's pretty good with his impersonation.
Yeah,
I know we were at the fight over the weekend, Marcus, but did you by chance get a chance to see Virgil's fight?
I did, man. I did watch Virgil's fight later on in the evening, surrounded by my folk, man. Everybody that I watched the fight with was super impressed too. Virgil looked good. Virgil's sharp. Virgil has good defense. Hey, that was a great performance by Virgil, man. No cap. Virgil looked good. Virgil looks ready for prime time, bro. Virgil looks legit. Yeah,
man. He's one of the guys that in the future is going to be giving us some great fights. Virgil Ortiz over the weekend, stopping Ugas, Vasquez. And I didn't get a chance to see the ESPN fight between Andrew Maloney and Joshua Franco. It was a busy weekend of fights. Yair saying that he did see it. I was surprised because after I think when the main event between Rigondeaux and Casimero finished, I think maybe like 10 minutes later, I saw a headline that, Joshua Franco not upsets, but gets a decision over Maloney. And I could have swore I saw a tweet that said Maloney had knocked down Franco. And that's why I was surprised. You saw the fight, Yair.
It took it away, though.
It was a slip.
It was a slip.
Yeah, the clear slip.
It was a clear slip. When we were watching it, we're like, no, that's what's going to change the fight. That's what was going to give Maloney the fight. We're like, yep, that's it. If this knockdown goes through, that's it. It's Maloney's fight because obviously the points and but the judge was very quick. I commend, and everybody was glorifying how the referees and even the referees on the TV set or watching the replay did not take 25 minutes like in the previous fight to look at the head, but it took less than.
What happened with the knockdown?
They're talking about in the previous bout.
Oh, the previous fight. Well, in a different commission, though. That was
and it was a different circumstance.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that the announcers were glorifying it because it didn't take 25 minutes. It took 15 seconds. The ref came in the corner. Jack Reese, veteran referee, said it was my mistake, no knockdown. It was my mistake, no knockdown. It was my mistake, no knockdown. And even right before the round ended, what I loved the most, what he said, he told the judges, hold your cards, hold your cards, hold your cards. I'm going to go check the replay. And it took 15 seconds, went to each corner. My mistake, no knockdown. My mistake, no knockdown. And it cleared everything right there. And then that's when you could hear the corner saying, it's still your fight. They were telling Joshua Franco, which is big shout out to Joshua Franco.
What round was that in?
It was the 7th and the 8th round.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was between the 6th and the 8th. But anyways, huge congratulations to Joshua Franco.
Well, look, I thought Maloney was going to win this because of how he was looking in the second fight. It looked like he was on his way to really winning that fight.
Absolutely.
Just his output was really good. He was putting it on him for those first 2 rounds. Like I said, I didn't see the fight, so you let me know. Like, how did it all play out? Like, what happened? What caused Franco to win, or what was Maloney doing?
The pressure.
Franco brought it.
And Franco brought it, and this time, what I've heard from the camps is that this previous time they were more working to become more pressure because in the second fight they tried to stay away from that.
Yeah, I noticed that. The first fight they pressured, and Maloney tried to move and box. The second fight, Maloney pressured, and he didn't do that. So I figured both guys. Well, I was thinking both guys were going to come forward.
Yeah, so this fight coming forward, it was a pressuring in the combinations that Joshua was working on him all the time. There was times that Franco, that Maloney, you thought he was about to steal the round, but the combinations that Franco was landing, a good 3 to 4 combinations, throughout each round, throughout the rounds, was setting up to win. And you could see he was going to be the clear winner throughout the rounds. So you can see that he was the clear winner, pushing back Maloney. Yes, and I was surprised too because And again, big shout out to Joshua Franco. Congratulations. I think he said he was going to tune in to watch this because when we went
send him an invite. Let's bring him in here if we can. If you can get a hold of him, let's bring him in here.
I'll text him right now. But anyways, if he gets on, big shout out to him because him and his team were very good. And when we went to Riverside, he was very open about how this time camp was going to be better, how he approached it. And you could just see it in him.
That's the part I want to touch on.
Yeah, and you can just see the little adjustments that he did. There was the high guard that you were talking about, Marcos. There was a high guard when Maloney would come in and boom, and the uppercut.
I thought for a moment you said the high ground. I'm like, what the hell, you been watching Star Wars?
The high ground. Nah, he been following your Twitter, homie. If you been talking about the high ground,
been quoting freaking Obi-Wan and stuff.
No, I'm not talking about his Twitter because he said
that California is better than Texas. It is.
He's talking about California being better than Texas.
Y'all don't got beaches, bro. Get out of here with
we got alligators. We got the best cows.
You got cows and fields and tornadoes and all sorts.
Y'all have droughts. Y'all can't say y'all got droughts. We got tornadoes. We got alligators. We got a king cobra on loose. We got a king cobra on the loose, anyways.
Screw that. See, you got king cobras out there. No, I didn't. I don't live in Texas.
All that king cobra nonsense, homie. You know what, man? The thing that I noticed about Franco.
I'll text him right now.
Franco, the way that Franco looked like a guy that went back and put some real adjustments. He looked like he watched the second fight. And I agree with you, Marcos. In the second fight, Maloney was putting it on Franco. And I think that what happened with the eye was actually a punch. Number one. It definitely was a punch.
Yeah, it was a punch.
He was looking out. Hey, look, you just worry about getting your contact on the screen, mate. That's what you need to do. But he did look like the punch might have been he felt like it was a thumb to the eye, but it was really looked more like a knuckle to the eye. Even if you come on screen, I'm gonna say the same thing to you. He was getting to Franco in the second fight, Maloney was, but in the third fight, man, it looked like Franco, number one, refused to give up the play to Maloney, and B, look, you clearly saw the effect of the Robert Garcia Boxing Academy effect, dude. He was tit for tat. When Franco got touched, he made sure that he took the play back. Maloney and him never separated where you felt like Maloney took the play. Franco initiated and Franco ended. He was first, he was last. He was purely better, man. He was better defensively. He didn't tend to have those lapses where he stood in the middle and allowed himself to kind of get overwhelmed by the oncoming Maloney. He kept Maloney turning. Man, he turned Maloney into baloney. Let's eat.
Hey, Marcos, I want to touch.
Hold on. We gotta do this this live chat here. Box Talk. We're all gonna answer this, but I want you guys to answer this in the chat also. If you had a chance to watch Rigo, Andrade, or Shakur, which one are you watching? I'll go first. Out of those three, I'll watch Rigo. Yair?
A tie between Rigo and Shakur.
No, you got to pick one.
Boo-boo.
Andrade. Okay, Marcus.
Okay, yeah, that's an easy one for me, bro. It's Shakur because this is the guy that's going to be pound for pound soon. Laugh about that. Oh, okay. Man, are you joking? Who you got that can beat Shakur around that weight class? Let me know. In the chat or through your mouth. Yair, what's good?
I picked Rigo because he cracks me up, dude. That guy's hilarious when he does interviews. I love freaking interviewing Rigo because he talks a lot of trash. It's the funniest freaking thing ever.
But he's always mad.
What's up?
He always looks mad. To me, he always
he's not always mad.
He just has RBF, dog. Rigo's cool.
Yeah. He probably has cool. RBF.
And Rigo's I was gonna say impersonator. Rigo's interpreter, dog, was super cool too. Shout out to this cat. We all kind of hung out after the fight. Rigo's looked like he wanted to skip the presser. So we got a chance to go down the ramp and kind of chop it up, man. Rigo's cool. Rigo had everybody laughing. Look, Rigo loves boxing. Rigo has a right to fight, and I watch Rigo, man. I mean, you know.
All right, let's get to it. You know, that was the third fight, the one that me and Marcus were there live at the Dignity Health Sports Park. A weird night, just a weird night, because the first fight ends in a knockout with Rashid Warren just starching Sugar Vasquez. I believe he's the nephew of Israel Vasquez. And I've seen that kid fight before in another fight. I think there at the Dignity Health, and I think he got touched up a bit. And I think he got knocked out. You know, and Rashid Warren's not a big puncher. You know, I don't think he's ever really been a big puncher, to be honest.
He has been. He was a big puncher when he was young in the amateurs. He was a huge puncher.
Yeah, but it's different when you're in the pros, though. You know.
I think it might be a mindset thing for him, man. If he comes in and he says, "Hey, look, I'm sitting down on everything I throw," either he's going to drop guys or he's going to break his hands. Well, you know, I mean, they call him Nuke in the amateurs for a reason, bro. Ask Adrian Broner about Nuke's power back in Cincinnati, man. He sent AB home crying a couple of different times, man, when they were young. So, I mean, it says something. He's had power at one point in his life.
The opponent that he was in there, you know, also gets hurt a lot, you know. So I think that had more to do with it than the latter. To be honest, no, I'm just being honest, bro. Like that Vasquez got hurt in his last fight.
Okay, yeah, no, I thought you was talking about his past exploits with AB. Yeah.
Oh no,
he lit Vasquez up. Vasquez, I hope you're doing okay, bro. You were a nice guy, man.
Yeah, it's, you know, but I hate to say it, but I don't know if he could keep fighting for much longer, man, because it's looking like he gets hurt a lot, and he has a lot of defensive issues that he needs to work on if he wants to have a longer career. Because I don't know, I'm not sure if that's 2 back-to-back knockout losses, but I remember the last time I saw him fight, he mixed it up with the guy and he got hurt, and I think he got put down really bad. Could be wrong, but in terms of he got put down bad, but I remember he did lose via knockout the last time I saw him. The second fight, 16 seconds in, the fight's over. Both guys go ahead and get a headbutt. That was weird. You know, we go from the knockout where we're like, okay, cool. You know, he knocks a guy out. This is great. We're off to a great start. And then the headbutt. And then the main event. Oh, man.
Start your engine.
Yeah. So, okay, a few things for perspective here in terms of when fights happen at Dignity Health, and
Christian, I agree with you, homie.
Some of the fights that I've seen where fans have been extremely displeased. I remember there was a fight with Irizlandi Lara in the Barclays Center where he was the main event, and when he got into the ring, everybody left because at that point, and it's funny because Lara ended up mixing it up in that fight. But I'm gonna be honest, you know, I like Rigondeaux, and I'll get to this too. But you know, a lot of people, I think this was the most I've heard boos in a fight ever for a venue that usually has a lot of great back and forth fights. There, you know, it's known as the War Grounds, not as the. How did this Punch Bowl thing come out for this venue? That's what I want to know. Did Moro just start, you know, calling it the Punch Bowl? That's what I want to know, because it sounds a little weird to me. But
because I didn't get no punch, mate.
No,
they weren't passing out no punch at the.
So here's the thing with this fight, okay? Like, part of me admires what Rigo did in there, because there was at times where I felt he was like the matador in the fight. Okay, he was just making Casimero look foolish, and just he's missing wildly, and he's just like toying with them. And I was looking at that and I was like, wow, man, like this guy's a freaking master, you know, like look, he's making him look foolish at times. But then again, you can't expect to win rounds if you make the guy miss and you don't throw any punches. You don't punish the guy for missing. Right. And Rigo did that the whole entire freaking fight, you know? So even after the fact, when they announced the scorecards, like, honestly, I felt Casimero won because he brought the fight. He brought the fight, and Rigo didn't throw enough punches, to be honest. You know, people were saying like, oh, Rigo won. Like I said, I appreciate what Guillermo Rigondeaux does in the ring. It was his fight to win, and he just didn't throw enough. That's the thing. He didn't throw enough. You just can't expect to win fights if you don't throw punches. That's why I felt Canelo actually beat Irizlandi Lara in their fight. That was Lara's fight to win. He just didn't throw enough. You know, the activity of of both those guys. You know, look what happened. They end up losing the fights. But with that, I don't know. I'm conflicted because part of me is what I just told you. Like I actually really did appreciate what Rigo was doing, you know, but
Absolutely.
there was also times in the fight where I was like, come on, bro, do something, stop moving, throw a punch. Like, come on, dog. Like you're hearing all these guys booing. Like even me was getting to a point at some parts where I was like, come on, man. Like you got to exchange, throw something, you know?
Nuclear Killer, I'll take that bet, homie. Number one, I will take that bet with your garbage Cowboys bet. I'll take that. Number two, yeah, Arm, he's exactly right, bro. He did lose that $5,000. I'm betting that all day. Number two, yeah, Rigo did do a lot of moving around. I think, you know what, to be honest,
it was more than moving around, bro.
Listen, he did a lot of moving around. He did a whole bunch of moving around.
Yeah, but, he did a whole bunch of moving around.
He did a whole bunch of moving around, but the one thing that we're forgetting is that, man, Rigo landed at will. I know that people don't want to hear that. Casimero didn't block many shots from Rigo at all.
Rigo didn't throw a lot either, though. Bro.
Hey, Rigo looked like he threw about 41 punches or something like that.
I heard that they said the punch
beneath 50 punches landed. Both fighters, man. If I'm not mistaken, like they were beneath 50 punches landed. That was crazy. Yeah, Rigo did not do enough to win, man. But I think that, you know, if Rigo would have thrown more punches, it definitely would have been interesting because you're right. I saw there was points at times, man, where Marcos was laughing and he just was putting his head back laughing.
I was laughing. Okay,
because dude
you
noticed
that?
Like,
yeah, I was laughing because one, I was thinking like, no, I was thinking like if there was more people here, I could totally hear them say "ole, ole," like because he was making a miss wide. But the other thing too, I was laughing because I was like, dude, he's making this guy look so basic. You know,
absolutely.
But then there was times too where like you saw me, like I was getting like fed up. Like even I got fed up to a point. I was like, come on, bro, like do something, like fight.
Do something, throw something.
Yeah.
I mean, man, Rigo did move around. Rigo told me after the fight when we did catch up with him that he thought that he did probably move around too much. And
way too much.
He said he felt like maybe he could have thrown more punches. But you know what, man? He still has that era of pride, bro. You can't steal his pride because it's inside. Rigo's a trip.
He's hilarious. I love Rigondeaux, dude. That guy is he could talk ish with the best of them. And I just wish that he knew English because I think he would be a lot more popular because the trash talk that he talks. And, you know, he has like an air of arrogance to him as well. But it's not like a dislikable arrogance. It's because, he's confident in his skills.
You got to believe in yourself, man. You got to love you some you, like T.O. says. And I'm talking about Niner T.O. I'm not talking about your T.O. I'm talking about San Francisco T.O., bro. You got to love you some you. He loved himself, man. You got to give it to him.
I don't think
he was scared, Carlos Mendoza. I don't think he was scared, bro. You could say that he was scared. I don't think. Well, you know what? He did look like.
No. Remember
in the first round, Marcos and I talked about it. He did look like he ate a little leather, man. And
he was. I think the power did. Wobble. Yeah, I think the power did legit bother him for a few rounds
in the beginning. Hey, so listen,
he adjusted.
I am just waiting, man, for the fight between Casimero and Rigo. I mean, not Rigo, excuse me. Casimero and Inoue, or Casimero and Nonito, because these are guys. There's fireworks in either fight. Unbelievable, man. And he said Casimero said he's not concerned with Inoue's power. Look out. You stand around a little bit too much and want to trade with the monster, brother. That'd be a hell of a fight.
Yeah, Casimero is a very colorful guy too. He talks a lot of ish as well. And normally, we've seen like the trend with Filipino fighters is they're very respectful. They don't talk trash or anything like that. So Casimero is actually like a breath of fresh air, I think, for the Philippine boxing fan base, and they're really getting behind him at this point because he says a lot of funny stuff, and then he has Sean there. Sean is hype guy, but also his manager as well. Just building it up. In terms of
Sean is hilarious in his own right, bro.
In terms of Donier and Inoue, I would think that maybe in the Noe fight he would be the underdog, but in the Donier fight he would probably be the favorite because he's the younger guy. But I think, for me, I think he would be both the underdog in both those fights, to be honest.
That has to happen in the Punch Bowl, man. Casimero.
No, don't call it Punch Bowl. Stop with your
whatever.
Punch Bowl.
In the Punch Bowl,
No.
like Mario Ranello
No,
said.
no Punch Bowl.
Man,
Get out of here.
That would be a great fight, man, because I really think that and what's his manager's name again? Casimero's manager? Sean. Hey, Sean.
Knucklehead Sean.
Bro, you need to watch out if you see Donaire on the streets, homie, because Donaire might slide you with a quick 2-piece, homie. Because he said some crazy stuff in public about Donaire, man. And I know Donaire's a prideful dude, man. That's gonna be a hell of a buildup if they actually fight. They have to fight.
Well, I hope Casimero and Nonito fight first, and then they go into the Inoue fight. But yeah, the build up to the Nonito versus Casimero fight would be
unbelievable.
It's gonna be spicy, man, because everyone's gonna get involved in that one. Casimero's gonna talk his ish. Sean's gonna talk his ish. Nonito's wife is gonna talk their ish.
Man,
Nonito doesn't talk ish.
It'll be two types of Filipino fans out there too, man. You know what I mean? What we saw with Casimero this weekend was the swaggy Filipino fan, man.
I'm just saying that's why he's a breath of fresh
air. Everybody
out
there, man, they were. It was real hip hop oriented, man. Just the way that they kind of moved. It was a real live event. You could tell that he appeals to the younger crowd. It'll be a trip to see the two groups to get together to watch that fight, man. Be something.
Someone here on the chat saying that the Dignity Health Sports Park should be called the Cholo Brawl Bowl.
I guess
this time around.
Everyone's saying that the fight is dead between Casimero and Donier. Let's hope not. Casimero expressed interest in both the Donier fight and the Inoue fight after the fact, but I don't know. Is there any movement on Donier and Inoue part 2? Like I read a thing that they were talking again, but I don't think they had anything concrete, to be honest. And I would think that we would have already maybe seen some sort of thing about the two.
I don't think that Donaire, I know Donaire watches the show. I do not think that Donaire is going to continue to let his pride be disrespected by Casimero and his camp. Nonito, man, let's go on the show. Bring it on. Let's talk about it, man. Let us know how you feel about what's going on.
Yeah, Sean mentioned that he has a contract with Casimero, but because that fight fell through, that means when a fight falls through, that means that the contract is null and void. I would think, right? In terms.
But is there some type of latent contingency on the contract that says, hey, even if the talks go dead or we don't fight, you're obligated contractually to fight us within the next 180 days? Or I don't know. I'm just speculating, kind of like the tackiness that was on with the Canelo plant when we heard about that a couple of weeks ago.
It's back on, I guess.
I told you.
Nah, but screw that. They should have been fighting in September. Nah, F that stuff, man. They shouldn't be waiting until November,
now
man.
September. Now it's September is the problem.
Yeah. Man. What do you mean? That's when they're supposed to fight in September.
Listen, I'm a guy that likes to let stuff marinate a little bit.
Nah, marinating bunch of BS.
You be burning up your barbecue. That's why, Marcos. That's why we can't have the Fight Hub barbecue at your house.
Steak well done or steak medium rare? Steak medium rare.
Yeah, but
medium.
No, exactly. But you got to let it marinate.
Nah, dog.
You got to let it marinate just a little bit, man. It's okay. We got a good November fight, man. There's fights lined up all over the place. Just chill.
It sucks not to see him fight on that weekend.
I told you they was going to go back into negotiations, and it wasn't.
Yes, you did say that. But how many times have we seen in this damn sport that it doesn't? How many freaking times have we seen that it doesn't?
This just wasn't going to be one of them. I told you because Canelo absolutely. I muted you, baby. Ooh, Canelo.
You know what? Eddie was there at the fight. I had a chance to speak to Eddie. We put it up, but I didn't get a chance to put subtitles. I think I'm gonna upload another one with subtitles in it so you guys can all see it. But he didn't want to answer the reason why the fight fell through. He kind of beat around the bush. I asked him hey, was it because they offered Canelo a multi-fight deal? And he's pretty tight-lipped. But he did say, for you guys that are here, that he's hoping by the This week,
This week.
actually. Yeah, he's hoping by this week they'll have something signed between Canelo and Caleb Plant. So I got my freaking fingers crossed, because that was actually one of the fights I was most looking forward to. Is that one, Manny and Spence, and Wilder and Fury, which is a perfect segue now to Manny Pacquiao taking on Yordenis Ugas. I want to say something first off, though, okay? A lot of people online posting a bunch of BS, I think, that's extremely uncalled for. But I think it's in general, because I think, they do it for clicks, and we're just in an age where there's so many YouTube channels that just push like BS conspiracy theories that are not founded in any sort of fact whatsoever. They're accusing Errol Spence of pulling out of the fight. That's a bunch of BS, man. Like, what person in their right mind, okay, would pull out of a guaranteed multi-million-dollar payday? Like, come on, man. And then even that, okay, look, he goes, because there's some people like, oh, we should have went with the injury, da-da-da-da-da. No, dude, he ends up risking his sight. He would have ended up being blind in that fight.
No,
like,
you don't have a see. Those are people that just don't know. Hey, let me steal it from the rest in peace to the legend, the late great Roger Mayweather. Them people that just don't know shit about boxing.
Yeah.
Problem is, you can't fight without a physical. And if you flunk the eye part of the physical, you can't fight. That's what happened. He went in. He had to get the eye. He had to get the eye examined by an ophthalmologist. They found the tear in the retina. Game over. He went to 3 different docs to try to circumvent the situation. Not something you can circumvent as a prize fighter, man. To be honest, especially the way that he kind of fights. He does like to trade. You got to get the eye fixed, man. No way around it. Period. Good luck to EJ, man. That's a tough break.
Yeah,
brother.
yeah. It is. Well,
but it's not the Sugar Ray Leonard injury. It's important to note that it's not the Sugar Ray Leonard injury.
No. Well, that's what I was going to get to.
A lot of people are going around saying that it's not a detached retina.
Yeah, it's not a detached retina. It's a tear on the retina. He got surgery last Wednesday. He's going to make a full recovery. But I was on an interview with Robert Guerrero. I'm going to release it hopefully tomorrow, man. I've been so busy with everything. And it's funny because I was talking to him and I was like, bro, the main event got canceled. And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, Spence isn't fighting Manny. And he's like, the event's not canceled. And I'm like, let me read this. And I told him, and he's like, oh, man, no way. But then I asked him, how does that happen, dude? And he's like, it's 2 things. It's either a lingering injury from the accident, or you get that because you're getting touched up in sparring. So, yeah, who knows? All I know is I am so glad the commission found that, because if he would have went in there with the fight, regardless of how you thought the fight was going to go, you don't want to go in a fight with Manny Pacquiao with a torn retina, because more times than not, Manny's probably going to shut that eye given that injury. And it would have been really, really, he's already done that once already to a fighter, to Antonio Margarito. Margarito was never the same after that. And
he's a southpaw. That's his lead eye. Just not a good look. No pun intended. Not a good look for EJ, man. I saw that somebody in the chat, NJ MP, said, yo, let's get a Fight Hub fan meetup in Vegas this weekend. I'm with it, broski. I
don't know, dude. Isn't there like the Delta Plus and Lambda out there?
No, we just all wear foil hats. You know what I'm saying?
Foil hats? Little astronaut helmets?
You wear, you know what I'm saying? You got to maintain social distance, but we could do like a what's good. You know what I mean?
Should we have a meetup at Sapphire?
I'm not allowed in there, bro. Dog. I'm not allowed in there, homie. So don't even bring that up, doggy.
Marcus is being very naughty. You're very naughty.
You don't bring up Sapphire. I'm not allowed to say it more than 4 times in 1 year. So.
Oh man. Okay. So Yordenis Ugas is now the replacement opponent. I'm still very, Ugas could end up winning the fight. To be honest, I'm trying to think. Okay, what does Ugas need to do to win the fight? What does Manny need to do to win the fight? And I'm thinking, okay, Ugas cannot exchange with Manny Pacquiao at his distance, because he'll get eaten up alive He's too slow, and he's just there to just take punches like a mofo. He needs a, he can't mix it up either with Manny. But he mixed it up at points with Sean Porter. He mixed it up a little bit more than I think is right for him in his last fights. In his last fights, he took some punches that I was surprised that he took. He cannot fight Manny in that close distance because that's Manny's strong suit, with a guy who's slower than him and a guy with smaller reach on the inside of a guy with longer reach. His punches are going to get to you. His punches are going to get to you quicker. He's faster than you.
Absolutely.
And Manny's been looking on fire, man. Like when I saw Manny his second day of camp in Los Angeles at the mountains of Los Angeles, and I saw him shadow box a bit, and I'm not going to lie, I was like, dude, Errol's going to beat this guy. Like, he looks 42. He looks slow. Like, he doesn't look like the old Manny. As the camp continued and, I would go in, see him at the mountain shadow box, I'd be like, oh, okay, he's getting faster. Last freaking week, dude, last Friday, I was just like, what the hell happened? Like, he's not, well, yeah, it was just like, holy crap, his speed is back. His speed, he peaked. He was peaking at the right time, and he looked freaking fast. He looked ready for Errol Spence, man. He looked on fire. He's ready, man. Manny's ready. He's peaking. But with that being said, I think Ugas, when he comes from the Cuban school, man, he's gonna have to box. He's gonna have to box Manny and move around. And I don't, he's not that type of fighter. Ugas doesn't move around like a Rigondeaux. Ugas plants, does his little side movement and throws his punches. And that's tough.
Listen.
And given the short window to prepare for a Manny, like, you need time to prepare for like the speed of Manny, dude. You can't go in like a fight 1 week in. Dude, I'm just surprised the fight is still happening, to be honest, because usually when you lose fighter A or fighter B in a pay-per-view, the fight's canceled because the people that are there to watch the fight are there to watch those two fighters fight. And yeah, I've heard the argument like, well, a lot of people are there to see Manny, and they'll go and they'll still see him because of Manny. True. Manny's a once-in-a-lifetime fighter. There's not going to be another Pacquiao. And that's why I said what I said on Twitter last week, that I think fans should still go and watch this fight. Yeah, freaking what's-his-face, Blaze coming at me. And, I don't interact with that guy either, but the tweet was directed towards fans because this is the thing. This is probably going to be either Manny's last fight or they can squeeze one more in November, December, and that's it. He's done.
Oh, snap.
You have a chance now to see an all-time great fight that I'm telling you, we're not going to see another Manny. For cheaper ticket prices, this is like your one chance to see Manny and get affordable tickets to see him and see him potentially put on a master class in this fight, even though, Ugas could definitely upset Manny. He has the skills. That's why I said what I said in Twitter. But yeah, some people were like, "Oh, Marcos, you're shilling for the event." Nah, dog. It's like I realize what Manny is, and it's the same thing that I said when B-Hop fought Joe Smith in LA. I'm like, we're not going to see another B-Hop. Like, what he's doing is not normal for 50 something, and regardless of what happens, you should go and see B-Hop so you could tell your grandkids, yeah, I saw that guy fight live at the Forum. He was freaking great. There's not fighters like him anymore. It's the same thing with Manny Pacquiao.
I said what I said.
Man. You know what, man? Check this out. The one thing, I love history, man, especially boxing history, especially a fighter's catalog. Once you look at a guy's catalog and you see how they kind of dealt with the style, you can kind of see the trajectory going forward of what they have. And for me, that fight for Ugas is going to be the Sean Porter fight. Sean Porter, a little slower than Pacquiao, a little less power. There was times where Ugas seemed to be just going from corner to corner, trying to catch up with what Porter had to do, man. I think that we'll see a similar bout, but what you'll end up seeing, maybe it depends on if Manny can maintain his movement. I definitely think that we're going to see Manny, man, landing multiple shots. Honestly,
Marcus,
you know what I mean?
Marcus, once we all texted each other and said, "Hey, the fight's it's Ugas." I quickly got onto my computer and I saw the Sean Porter versus Ugas fight, specifically that fight, just because how Sean Porter doesn't stay in one solitary position the entire
Always
fight,
bouncing,
always bouncing
like
back
little
and forth.
Pacquiao.
And
He
that
sparred with
still,
Pacquiao.
yeah. He's not a Pacquiao, but that same resemblance that he has in the ring is what I was telling some of my friends. Look, the only thing that I can see that could cause a problem for Ugas is what you were saying, Marcos, is that, you know, he has that Cuban style boxing, but he comes in and then he comes back out. He has that coming inside and then outside. That's what
when
like
he
the most.
watch. Yeah, no, look. Hold your thought. If he pulls out, he's gonna get caught like how Thurman got caught.
Did.
Yes,
Exactly.
exactly. That's what I told my friends. I was telling them, because what do you think you'll win? I said, well, let me study this fight real quick. I said, one thing that I can see is that Ugas, he's a little bit flat-footed, but what could cause a problem is when he pulls in and then he pulls out and he doesn't pull out correctly. That's where Pacquiao could catch him right there, because that's exactly what happened to Keith Thurman as well. So I said that's what's going to be the key factor, but again, he didn't have a good preparation. That's what's kind of like
no. Ugas was on the card, brother.
I'm saying like for the speed of Pacquiao, like in sparring and all that.
Because he was training to fight Fabian Maidana, which is the brother of Marcos Maidana, his little brother, and Maidana is like a power puncher. Like he's like a slugger
guy, right?
So
definitely, man. I feel like when you look at it, one thing that Ugas does have that I think Pacquiao, we got to go back and forth with who can do what. I think a key for Ugas is going to be when Pacquiao jumps in, Ugas is good at timing guys when they're coming in. And also Ugas, if you watch any of Ugas's fights, when you charge Ugas, you're going to catch 1, 2, 3, 4 those body shots. Ugas is always dropping stuff into the breadbasket. That may prove to slow Manny down later in the fight. Who knows? He'll need to slow Manny down to be able to do something to get his offense started. But a definite way to slow a guy like Manny Pacquiao down would definitely be to land body punches. So
Ugas has been on a winning streak. You know, that is if you feel that he beat Sean Porter. Like I scored that fight live for Fox, and I thought Ugas.
Hey, that was a knockdown in the 12th. I thought that I thought that overhand that he threw and he hit Porter Wood on the side of the head. I know the broadcast said it was a slip.
It's still tough, dude, to
go back and watch the fight.
Because like the way Sean's feet went out from under him, it looks like how your feet go out from under you when you slip. You know.
It looked like he got dropped. If anybody goes back and look at it in the chat, man, if you think that Porter got dropped by Ugas in that last round, man, put a glove in the chat, because it to me, I thought that was the difference. And honestly, I thought that Ugas did enough in that fight to be representing himself as the WBC champ versus Earl Spence Jr., man. I thought that he did enough with that knockdown to steal a split decision. If it was already a split decision, that knockdown would have put it over the top, man.
So, you know, Ugas has had some great wins since 2016. You know, Jamal James, he has a win, and Jamal James has been winning since then. Brian Perella, you know, he's a good, sturdy test for anybody.
Guy trained by Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah, Levon Gavin-Michava, that was the Wolf, I think. Harry dude. Nelson Lara, I wasn't. Was I at that fight? No, I wasn't at that fight. Thomas Delorme, who's, you know, pretty solid guy. Ray Robinson, another solid guy. Jonathan Batista, I wasn't there at that fight. Cesar Miguel Barón Nuevo was at the Barclays Center. Then he goes to Sean Porter. Then he beats Omar Figueroa. That was a one-sided bout. Where was that actually? That wasn't the Pacquiao Thurman card, was it? Let me see.
I think it was. Was it not?
Let's see here. That was the fight where O'Mara showed up in that pink jumpsuit and everyone went crazy. Yeah, he was the co-main event of Pacquiao versus Keith Thurman. Okay. That's so crazy how things come full circle, you know. Good for Ugas. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, man. You look at it, and Ugas is a stand-up guy. Ugas, if you go to any of the events, he's always there, dressed real sharp. He loves to wear white. I'm sure that he'll be wearing all white versus Pacquiao. He's got a lovely little young lady that he walks around with. Ugas is a classy dude, man. He's another guy that I wish spoke English, bro. English.
Okay, that's what I was going to get to. He's very, very short with his words. When we saw him in Miami, I was talking to him. Hey,
talk to him.
I was like, ¿quién se presenta la oportunidad contra Pacquiao? Bueno, si la pelea se presenta.
Yeah, he.
No, it's just funny. It reminded me of Cotto.
That's the way he says it. Bueno, si la pelea se presenta.
It's funny because so you guys, this was before your guys' time, but I remember when I would be covering Miguel Cotto fights, dude. There'd be times where like he would refer to himself in the third person, and I'd just be there like, what
Miguel Cotto wishes to have a rematch.
Yeah. Well, pero si Miguel Cotto quiere la revancha contra el Canelo Alvarez, pues es algo que Miguel Cotto va a pensar en ese pelea.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the hell are you? Why are you talking in the third person, bro? Like, what the heck? But back to Ugas. After Omar Figueroa, he went to Mike Dallas Jr. I was there at that fight. He blew him out.
Yep.
And then Abel Ramos, that was one of the bubble fights. That was a split decision.
Abel Ramos is tough, man.
Fight.
Yeah, 115,
yeah.
115 to 113, 111 to 117, 115 to 113. I'm trying to remember that fight. Did Ramos touch him up?
Yeah,
it was just one of those studying fights where both guys landed a lot of shots, man. There wasn't a lot of moving around. Ugas, I think what the difference was is that his jab made the difference between Ramos and himself.
Yeah. Huh.
Ramos is tough. If you remember, Ramos
he just won his last fight, too.
Yeah, Ramos just busted up Figueroa's brother. He busted up Omar Figueroa.
Yeah. That's right.
Tough fight for Omar, bro. Real tough fight for Omar.
Yeah, he beat Omar. Yeah,
that's where
Omar threw up.
Yeah, Omar's dad told me, homie, don't say that it was blood. It was coffee because he drank coffee.
That's what they said, coffee.
He said it was coffee. It wasn't blood.
It could be no. I've heard of boxers taking coffee before fights. I don't think it's recommended or if it's a good thing. But Antonio Margarito used to have a cup of black coffee like an hour before his fights as well. So it's not something I've never heard of before. But
I would poop in the middle of the rounds.
Dude, I've always wondered if that's ever happened, dude. If someone got hit with a body shot and they just shart their pants.
Yeah, the nerves and the coffee guts, man. Good night.
Yeah. How many miles do you think Rigo ran last night? Who knows, bro? But he was moving. He was moving a lot.
Listen, look at the chat. Look at the chat with the Javis Bickle, Earl Duck Dynasty, Spinnequack, mate. Nathan Flores. Everybody is saying that. What and exactly? Let's get to it. What makes you feel like Spence is actually ducking? What's making people say, hey, that Spence is ducking? Think about this. If the guy has surgery, so are we saying that they went out of their way to stage a photograph in front of the hospital with the eye patch on?
It's not hard to put an eye patch on and fake a photo.
Hey,
but we're in the know, and we know that's
he has surgery.
The case. You know,
you can't bribe an ophthalmologist to do surgery on your eye. This dude is making big money outside of this. He's not going to ruin his life to help Earl Spence Jr. Not fight 42-year-old Manny Pacquiao, mate.
These are just
that sounds ridiculous.
50-0 versus 8 divisions. Debate starts now. That was a few live chats ago, bro.
We already did that one, Holmes.
Yeah, that was a few. We brought on Steve Farhood. Look for the live chat where I think the title is like, is Manny right there. Yeah, is Manny Pacquiao greater than Floyd Mayweather? We brought in Steve Farhood, a boxing historian, one of my mentors,
and he said no.
And you just ruined it, bro. We want him to watch that. Come on.
Lee.
He just wanted to say it again on here. That's all.
Would it surprise you guys if Ugas won?
Yes. I would be. It would depend on how Ugas won, bro. You know what I mean? It would depend.
If it's by a knockout, then yeah. If it's by a knockout, yeah, I'll be surprised. But if it goes to the cards, not really. But then again,
I still would be shocked. I would be shocked if Ugas won, period.
the thing that lingers, and the cloud that lingers is just if Pacquiao loses, just has to do with his age. That's what comes to the bottom.
He looks great, but it's every time that Manny has fought like an unknown guy. Not every time, but I'm saying like recently, Jeff Horn, he lost, even though I didn't think he lost, but he lost.
But that was his exit with Top Rank. Everybody knows that once you leave Top Rank, you don't leave. You leave with a loss.
I don't know about that.
He left Top Rank and he got beat because he got out of his situation with Top
See,
Rank.
now you're talking conspiracy funny.
My guy, go back and watch the fight. Did Jeff Horn handle Pacquiao? No,
he didn't. He didn't.
No. So why else would he lose?
That was a bad because it's a bad decision.
Australian home cooking.
Because the judges there in Australia don't know how to judge fights. Las Vegas, Leon Valdez versus Conceição. I don't know. You guys want to chime in on that?
That's happening in a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah. That's it in
Valdez. Valdez.
Okay,
yeah.
Mark White Dan.
Yeah, Valdez all day.
I think this is retaliation for where they didn't believe Pacquiao's rotator cuff injury. So that's why people say EJ's injury is fake.
Okay.
That injury was kind of hard to believe, to be honest.
Yeah, that injury was not real. That's why.
My whole salt water thing and all that. I don't know. I ripped my rotator cuff, dude, and like, if you have a cortisone injection, I guess you could go through with doing stuff with it because it numbs it and you don't feel anything. But without it, if you put cortisone, a shot, it's supposed to numb you.
It depends on how the rotator cuff is made up of 4 muscles. It depends on how many of the 4 muscles of the rotator cuff are torn. If you have a complete rotator cuff tear, there is no boxing. Period.
Yeah, you can't.
Stop.
I remember when I ripped mine, dude. I couldn't do anything. Like I couldn't even like lift like this. It was freaking painful. So that's why I find it hard to believe that he was able to go have a full 12-round fight with a ripped rotator cuff, man, because that is like excruciating freaking pain the next day.
It's an insulting excuse. He's too good for that excuse, man. Say something else. Say something like I was thinking that I had a bad dream and I couldn't get off my punches.
Okay.
Something.
Okay.
Something else. Russell Mora as a referee in Pacquiao versus Ugas. Mora is which one?
Russell Mora is I don't know. Russell Mora, which one is he? We have to see a picture of him.
Russell Jamie. Hold on.
I know. Russell Mora. Let's see. Russell Mora. I'm not familiar. Oh, he's the one that judged Maloney and Franco. Huh.
As soon as you put Russell Mora in the 5 worst referee jobs in the past 10 years.
Oh, really? Is that the first thing?
We looking for some reason.
Referee Mora rises from career low. Once again, Nevada Mora's under a microscope. Referee Mora controversial.
Oh, no, it's this guy? No, okay.
Dang, it's nothing but negative stuff.
Yeah, this guy
we got to see his face, dog. Y'all got to see my boy.
This guy screwed over Librado Andrade in his first fight with Lucien Boutet. Lucien Boutet was out on his freaking feet. He was out. He should have waved the fight off, and he didn't. And he gave Lucien Boutet a long count. Jeez. Well, let's hope he's improved and he's gotten better, and he does a great job in there with Manny and Ugas.
What do we think his shortcomings are that he would? What effect do we think he'd have on the bout based on his past history? Are we saying that he's going to let Manny get roughed up? What's the complaint with Russell Mora?
The one with the Boutet fight. Boutet was out on his feet. And
that was cold for Librado Andrade.
And then I believe they gave him a count, but this ref gave him like a 20 count. Like
but also, man, I mean, the score was whack for that too. So
yeah, and it's just someone saying that wasn't Mora. Well, the article is saying that it was him. Let me see.
Yeah, man. There's nothing but negative stuff about him.
Yeah, I'm not. Okay, guys in the chat, let us know like what's your concern about Russell Mora for the fight, because we're trying to do look up articles here, and we do not see anything. It's showing that he refereed that Abner Mares Joseph Akbeko fight in Vegas. I was there for that fight. I remember there was a lot of low blows, and he didn't warn Abner Mares. And I know for like a few years, Abner Mares had this stigma about being a fighter that hits you in the nuts, hits you with low blows.
NJMP.
Yeah,
don't do it.
You know, so
it's
going to
a
Vegas
good
to
fight,
meet Ugas'
man.
girlfriend. That's it. Says NJMP.
Don't do it, homie. Don't do it. There's gonna be so many women out there that look like Ugas' girlfriend. Just go find another one that's not Ugas'.
Nah, that's his wife, bro. You can put some respect on that. That's
okay. Yeah, that's
respect.
even worse. Put some respect on Miss Ugas, homie.
Yeah.
All three of y'all.
So there is a lot of negative. I want to say negative articles, but a lot of articles criticizing how he has reffed. Yeah, I'm seeing the Maloney fight. I'm seeing the Abner Mares Akbeko fight. It's saying here he was the ref for Boutte and Librado Andrade. Let's see what else. Yeah, I don't know. You know, it's I guess we're gonna have to see.
Yeah, man. Look, anybody that's not named Spence or Crawford.
Peter K. Before I interrupt you, he's been asking this more than like 10 times. What do you think about Brandun Lee, Marcos?
I didn't see his fight. I didn't see his fight.
B. Lee, homie. Brandun Lee is the real deal. Straight away. After Brandon's KO, 1 minute 40 seconds in the first round, where he knocked his guy down 3 times. A real tough game opponent. Brandon is a good body puncher. He's a devastating head puncher. He's smart. He's patient. I think that Brandon's going to be a legit player at 140. He just needs a chance to get maybe another good fight. When I was interviewing him, right after interviewing him, Brian Custer walked by him and said, it looks like championship boxing is up next for you. So, he got real hype. He's a young dude, man. I'm fired up about him, man. I really love dude, bro. I think that Brandon's tough. He's going to be good.
He's like 20 something and 0, right? No, 23 and 0, I think.
He's 23 and 0. He said pretty soon to be 24 and 0.
Brandun Lee.
Hey, tune in. Go to Brandon. Follow Brandun Lee on Instagram, man, and look at Brandun Lee. Brandun Lee is super interesting, dude. He's a cook. He's a shoe connoisseur. He's got clothes. He's very thoughtful, man. I think that you guys will be entertained by watching Brandun Lee do his thing, man. He's a good dude.
I agree that he does need a step-up fight at that point, because I'm looking at some of the opponents here, and they're not the most challenging for someone of the skills and talent.
All right, okay, clickbait. You about to get clicked off the channel. You need to say something with some intelligence. He says, I bet Mr. Hayes, at least you said Mr. Thank you for putting some respect on my name, mate. He says, I bet Mr. Hayes celebrates when error Spence ducked Pacquiao fight. That was an error, number one. I know what you mean, though. But, hey, why would I be celebrating that? I'm going. Why would I be celebrating that? I'm going to be there. I definitely wanted to see that. Everybody wanted to see that. Nobody's happy. Listen, let's get it straight. Regardless of skin tone or anything, if anybody that looks like me gets scraped up during the fight, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. Just like if any of these guys win, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. It is what it is, man. I'm a boxing fan first. So, of course I love my people like everybody else does, doggy. Don't get it twisted. But when it comes to this, how could I not love Manny Pacquiao? Dude is a straight legend. Straight up.
You don't love Canelo though, bro.
Hey, you know what, man?
Little
because
Canelo hater.
Why? You know why, bro?
No, we're not getting into this. We're not going to get into this. We're not going to get into this. Canelo, number 1 pound for pound, my friend.
I know that.
Number 1 pound for pound.
I was born ready.
Canelo was born ready, homie.
I was going to touch back on Brandun Lee. I think it's
Lee.
No, they're building him the right way.
Absolutely.
They're giving him the right opponents, but I think it's probably getting close to the time where he's going to have to step up the competition. I think he's ready. I think he's ready, and I think by the time he gets to like 26-0, he might be getting his crack at a title somewhere around there. Because he's built up a very, very good record at this point, being 23-0 with 21 knockouts. He's at 140 pounds. How does he make 140 pounds?
Yeah, man, he's a pretty big dude to be at 140.
Yeah, he is a big, 5'10", 71-inch reach. Yeah, he's a big guy.
He's a big dude. Brandon is a pretty solid. He's a solid dude, man. Just it's a trip to look at. And shout out to Brandun Lee's dad. Brandun Lee's dad was kind of orchestrating things during the interview. Nothing but respect for Brandun Lee's pops, man. He's got a great camp. He's got a lot of good people around him, man. It's fun to see a father and son team that are really locked in step, man. I'm
what's
very
better
happy
is that the
for
father
Brandon.
doesn't try to take the spotlight.
Yeah, he just puts people in check, but
Take the
steps off to
spotlight
the
because
side.
you have a lot of fathers, and you have a lot of fathers that
Let the
do
dads
that.
have the shine, man. What the heck?
Listen, let the dad, David.
No. Here, I gotta get to this right here because I know what they're referencing. Leo, Marcos, you're funny. I enjoyed Thurman slapping you around. Listen, bro. Listen, dog.
Whoa,
Jeff Horn did not beat Manny Pacquiao. If you think Jeff Horn beat Manny Pacquiao, you are freaking nuts. You're crazy. Jeff Horn lost that fight. I like Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn's a friend of the show here. We've interviewed Jeff Horn plenty of times. He's heard it all. Jeff Horn didn't win that fight, dog. Come on. He was almost put out in that, that 9th round?
Yeah, he was getting whooped.
And even then, he was. Look at his face. Look at Manny's face. Like, come on, bro. Like, Jeff Horn did not win that fight. You think Jeff Horn won that fight? You're freaking nuts. You got to go evaluate how you go and score fights, man. You're
absolutely, homie.
Thurman had you shook in that interview. I'll tell you why. Because for like a split second, I thought he was legit. Well, no, it looked like he was legit, like offended that I was saying that Jeff Horn didn't win that fight. That's why.
I thought Thurman was about to do something to you, homie.
Well, that too. He looked like
it was about a one-time you.
Yeah, it looked like maybe that threshold was gonna get crossed because I remember I was just thinking in my mind, I'm like, why is he getting so pissed off over Jeff Horn and Manny Pacquiao?
Man, look, if Thurman bomb on you, that's like Richard Pryor said, that's an ass whooping I gotta take. You're gonna just have to get bombed on. It's gonna be on camera, Marcos. Kim is filming, so.
No, I like Keith. I don't want Keith bombing on me.
Something for you. That's a payday. That's a payday.
Count Drago, Ortiz versus Mikey makes sense next. Sella and Dallas. That fight's never gonna happen, bro. They have the same trainer. Yeah, it'd be nice unless he leaves the stable, and then maybe that can happen. But that's not gonna happen. They're both trained by Robert.
Yeah, that's not going to happen in any way. Robert is definitely not going to unleash Virgil on Jose Cito or on Mikey. Those fights are not going to happen, though they would be good fights. But to be honest, man, I think that Virgil's a problem for everyone in that gym. Virgil is the crowning jewel, it looks like, of the Robert Garcia Boxing Academy, man.
And one thing that Mikey Garcia has implemented in his interviews, he's like, that's one unwritten rule from our gym is that we don't fight. We won't fight each other. Like,
well, yeah, that's bad for business.
Yeah, well, no, what I'm saying is like now or in the future, if we move, like we don't fight each other, they're supporting. If you've seen like 4 fights behind, you had Josecito, you had Jose, you had Mikey, you had all these big fighters supporting Virgil. So it's impossible. It will not happen. That's the fight when I happen.
Yeah, yes. And Mikey, not a lot of people know this about Mikey. Mikey's a manager. Like Mikey manages Josecito Lopez and a bunch of other fighters too. So Mikey's a smart guy, man. So
Mikey's definitely making moves for his exit.
Financially, Mikey is extremely smart.
Yeah, man. Good for him.
Extremely smart.
And Mikey got some dope cars too, bro.
Oh, he loves cars.
Car collecting out. Mikey got some slick rides, homie.
All right, you guys. Well, Manny Pacquiao taking on Yordenis Ugas this Saturday at the T-Mobile Arena on pay-per-view. It's going to be on Fox pay-per-view. That's going to be the attention. Yeah. Team Fight Hub is assembling in Vegas. All 3 of us will be there in Las Vegas this whole week to go ahead and give you coverage for the fight. We have some footage exclusively of Ugas training from today that we're going to be posting up. Also, my chat with Robert the Ghost Guerrero. will be up tomorrow on the channel as well. So keep looking for that. Everybody, please smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. If this is the first time you're watching this channel. For all you guys writing that Jeff Horn won the fight, you guys are insane. You're crazy. You don't know what the hell you're talking about, because Jeff Horn did not win that freaking fight against Manny Pacquiao. Tim Bradley did not win that fight, the first one with Manny Pacquiao. You guys are all nuts and crazy. But thank you guys for tuning in and watching us so much. We'll be back next Monday, but we already want to let you guys know that we will be moving the live chats to Tuesdays to not compete with, the monster that is the NFL, because NFL preseason has already started. And then, Monday Night Football we would go up against Monday Night Football. And I know like 3/4 of you guys are going to be watching Monday Night Football and not be watching ours.
Especially if it's the Cowboys.
Yeah.
The Cowboys at the
Niners, homie.
Against the Eagles, baby.
So
Niners, bro.
We will be, we'll give you the date as to when we will be moving to Tuesday at 5:35, but that it will only be for the NFL season. And once they get into postseason, we'll move it back to Monday at 5:35. So just wanted to remind you guys about that. Follow us on social media at Fight Up TV and look for our coverage this weekend. Oh, Not is saying start numbering the live chats, please. I don't know, because they're like pretty self-explanatory with like the topics we're covering. But I don't know. Maybe we'll start. I don't know. How would we?
Ask him how many numbers we're gonna have. Ask him how many numbers we should have.
Well, how would we even number it?
What does he mean by numbering them?
Yeah, like episode 1, episode 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because this is, I don't know. I don't consider this.
He said the live chats. He said number in the live chats, didn't he?
Yeah, this is live chats. I don't.
Number. I
don't consider this like a podcast.
Just check the date.
Sorry. Maybe we can do that though. Maybe we'll take that under advisement. Hey, and before we get out of here, doggy, I just want to shout out a couple of regulars in the chat, man. I see Danny always in the chat. NJMP always in the chat. Mr. Vegas, we saw you out there today, homie. Jorge Herrera would do more live chats, bro. Hurricane Hank, we always appreciate you, bro. Jason Bickle. There's just a whole bunch of people in, man. Dark DLM, again, Nate Flores, Slugfest. Man, we just appreciate all you guys, man, taking the time out, doggy, to
man. And
interact
next week,
work. You could be anywhere in the world, homie, but you right here with us, and that means a lot, dog.
Next week, we will chat about Jake Paul and
Tyron Woodley, honey.
And I don't know, maybe I'll bring in a special guest, because I've been talking to a lot of people. A lot of people are picking Jake Paul to win, which the more I listen to them, the more I'm just like, what? I don't know. I'm so conflicted on that. Fight, but we need to get off, because we're gonna start talking about that, and we're gonna be here another hour.
Yeah,
so a lot of you are saying to number it, or a lot of you are saying to number it based on the dates. We'll go ahead and do that, but look for just the videos. Going to be a ton of videos that we're going to have out this week for Pacquiao versus Ugas. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you jumping in here on the live chat. Thank you, man. Really, really appreciate it. And we'll see you next Monday at 5:35. And we'll give you guys a heads up when we go ahead and change the date to Tuesdays. We'll give you the exact date. And,
the NFL, just so we know, Monday the 13th of September is going to be the debut of Monday Night Football, right?
Who
With the
opens it?
losers playing. And then on Tuesday, that game's not important, guys. Don't.
All right. Well,
Cowboys versus Eagles, NFC.
We'll be on the 14th, but that's that's after the Belfort versus Oscar De La Hoya. Dude, Tito Ortiz is fighting freaking Anderson Silva. Isn't that weird?
Mm-hmm.
That's a weird fight.
That is a weird fight, man. It's just it's gonna be something else. I wonder how Ortiz is gonna translate into boxing. It's gonna be
not even that. Like, he was saying that he only had like a month notice that he has to drop to 190, I think. Tito fought his whole career at 205. I think he had a fight at heavyweight too. I'm not sure, but yeah, this is not looking good for Chito,
Peter K says NFL, yes sir. Let's see how my Rams do. Second or third place in the NFC West, bro. So don't worry about that, Rams fan. Let's get to another one.
Marcos is a Cleveland, Ohio fan. Cleveland Browns fan.
Are you a Browns fan, Marcos?
He's a fan. He's a Browns fan.
I don't really follow football.
He
dude.
said, "Hey Peter, he said we got a new QB. You did get Matthew Stafford, bro. That's gonna be a good addition. As a matter of fact, I heard that Matthew Stafford cooked the Cowboys in practice the other day. So I don't know. He might be ready to do something. I heard he barbecued the Cowboys secondary. So you smell that? You smell that, Yair? That smells like roasted cowboy nuts.
It's
on
preseason.
me. So.
It's preseason. It's preseason. That's all I know.
Oh man! All right, you guys. That's it for us. Have a great rest of your week, and make it productive for the fight.